victim goes in the store, and then about 30 seconds later, here comes this guy, and they have words, and they pull guns, and then they walk outside. He shoots him. He shoots him back, but he dies right there on the front of the convenience store. Yeah, right there by Warner Robins High, that friendly convenience store between the church, Oak Grove, Union Grove, and Warner Robins High. Yeah. Yep. Yep. We'll see what happens.
Supposed to be fascinating. Has the front row seat.
I don't know about that. You're welcome to come up there. Yes, open court, buddy. Yes, sir.
Is it a full courtroom or just?
Nah, nobody's ever in there usually.
It's 5 o'clock. At this time, I'll call the work session for the Perry City Council for Monday, December the 15th, 2025 to order. We have a quorum this evening. Item 3 on our agenda are citizens with input. Are there any citizens here this evening that would like to address mayor and council at this time? If you have anything to say, welcome. Item 4 are items for review and discussion. 4A is a community development department. 4A1 is professional services contract with Tunnel, Spandler, and Associates Incorporated for the City of Perry Comprehensive Plan. Mr. Duffy?
Thank you, Mayor and Council. I'm very excited to come before you this evening on this subject, our upcoming comprehensive plan update. This has been in the works for quite some time. We'll go through the presentation here, but just wanted to share some background on what a comprehensive plan actually is. So the Georgia Planning Act of 1989 does mandate that local jurisdictions complete and adopt a comprehensive plan to maintain our qualified local government status. This is really what allows us to apply for things like CDBG grants, among other funding sources. The Georgia Planning Act does require that we update our comprehensive plan every 5 years. You may recall our current standing adopted plan is a joint plan with Houston County communities, including Centerville and Warner Robins. We are seeking to do a Perry-specific plan this time around. So it's going to be a little bit of a departure for us from what was done previously. Just a reminder of what is required legally within a comprehensive plan. It involves 9 elements, which include community goals, needs and opportunities, community work program, a broadband services element, capital improvements element, economic development element, land use element, transportation element, and housing element. Just a little recap of what we've done so far. An RFP, request for proposals, was issued back in May of this year, sent out to a number of different consulting firms with the request for solicitations of bids. I know you have all that in your packets as well. The deadline for submissions was in June. July 14th, that's my first day on the job here, we kind of came in and reviewed the actual submissions. And we had a great group of a staff review committee to review the RFP submissions, including Ms. Clark, Ms. Wharton, and Ms. Carson, and myself, and basically did the initial scoring of the applications. Interviews were conducted with the finalists. We had 2 finalists, which you'll see later in the slides. But we are bringing this forward to you with a recommendation as of today. So basically 2026 is going to be the year of comprehensive planning for us. So as I mentioned, we did receive 8 responses from firms across the country. 7 were considered complete. We evaluated them using the rubric shown below. They were all held to the same standards in terms of how we evaluated them and scored them. Here is an example of the rubric that we used, with thanks to Mr. Worthington for assisting us in putting this together. All of the applicants were evaluated using this rubric. And here's a summary of the results. We are recommending moving forward with the firm TSW. They're very familiar with the city of Perry. They've assisted us in the past with our form-based code along the Courtney Hodges Boulevard, and have also done other projects in the city. It was kind of a close tie between TSW and GMC, but through the process of interviewing the folks involved, TSW did stick out to us as a clear forerunner in their familiarity with the city of Perry. So our recommendation to council is to accept the professional services contract with TSW. I'd be glad to answer any questions.
Questions, council? Yes, sir.
I'm interested in two things. You said this is basically you and Ms. Carson, is that correct? They kind of put this together? Did the interviewing and the scoring?
No, sir. It was a group of four of us.
Oh, okay.
Miss Tabitha Clark and Miss Holly Wharton were also part of the review panel as well.
Okay. I was just, could you tell us a little bit about what happened in some of the interviews, especially the top two? That sounds, I'd be interested to know what, just kind of granularly, what that was like, and what are some of the questions, or what made them stand out?
Absolutely. Well, I think one of the questions I had in particular was, how familiar are you with working in communities that are experiencing growth? And how comfortable are you with guiding us through this extremely important chapter and charting the city's future? TSW had a great example from, I believe, Bullock County, helping a community in that area near the Hyundai plant, which is experiencing rapid growth. And they've done work all over the state of Georgia. And, you know, we live in a growing state, right? So they were really, they came across as authentic, and I think that they could do a good job for us.
Okay. My other question was just on the scoring. How do you kind of do that? You kind of, in the group before, you just kind of pick the topic and say, well, does everyone independently write a score and you take the average? Is that how that works, or you discuss it, or?
That's correct. We did score independently. Each of us, the four reviewers, scored it on our own, and we all kind of arrived at the same conclusion. At which point the scores were averaged, and that was the final score that you have before you in the presentation.
All right. Thank you.
Sure.
Interesting. Glad you're here to do it.
Thank you.
Do you have any comments, Robert, that you would add? Because I know you've been intimately involved in this.
Yeah, yes, sir, I do. I think, you know, Joe obviously hopefully imparted upon you all this evening what an important process this is going to be for the city of Perry next year. In the past, our comprehensive planning process has not been as robust as it probably should have been. The fact that we had always participated in a joint comp plan effort with the county and our two other cities here in Houston County, I think for the purposes of Perry, watered down the product a little bit. You know, when you're sitting in a room, you're going through a planning process over a number of months with the city of Warner Robins or something like that, there's a bit of a disconnect relative to what is important for them and what they're planning for versus what's important to Perry and what we're planning for. So you spend kind of a lot of time on things that aren't necessarily germane to what we are thinking about here in Perry. As far as I know, this would be the first time that the city has actually gone out and solicited proposals from professional firms that handle this sort of business. And I think if you all were to approve moving forward, it would be very beneficial for a number of reasons. The first is you would get a very, I think, high-quality product that focuses on the city of Perry and brings to bear a variety of different types of professionals that plan for a living. So, yeah, you have your project team here, but behind them, you have an entire firm that's full of AICPs, transportation planners, land use planners, economic development folks, people that are very adept at understanding what the challenges and opportunities are for a community and putting that into something actionable moving forward. Some of the things that kind of stuck out to me as I went through some of the proposals, TSW I think is just eminently qualified. I mean, just a very high level professional firm that does this sort of thing for growing municipalities, growing counties. If you looked at the proposal, you can see that they have done comprehensive plans for a number of communities that we over the years have held ourselves in comparison to. You know, communities that we look towards as it relates to how you go about doing the business of the people in an effective and efficient manner. There's a very strong project team that they're putting forth on this one, including an economic development consultant partner. You can see that the person that's going to be handling the day-to-day for us has done this a number of different places, a master's degree in urban planning from Georgia Tech. You know, just a very strong team through and through that's going to be working with us through this process. A very comprehensive approach. I think you can look at the scope of work that was provided to us, and it is certainly a robust process. I think I was mentioning to someone before the meeting, if we as the city of Perry go through this process and we don't come out of it with an understanding about what you all value moving forward as a city and what you all want to accomplish moving forward as a city, then something's gone terribly wrong. You know, because the process as it's outlined looks very complete, and I think will be just a super beneficial thing for us to go through insofar as the product that's ultimately delivered, but just the process of you all, you know, attending these sessions, engaging the public, all that sort of thing is just going to be, I think, quite exciting. So something to look forward to. Familiarity with the community. TSW has worked for the city of Perry before. We have engaged them on a number of efforts in the past. They're currently working here on behalf as well of some private development partners here in the community. So they, you know, are familiar with the city of Perry. They won't be coming in trying to get up to speed over the course of a couple of weeks or months or whatever it is, so they kind of jump right in. And then, of course, something that I think all local governments struggle to a certain extent with is community engagement. You know, you all go to your GMA deals and they talk about community engagement, how you do it better and all that. What you have being proposed here by TSW is a very robust community engagement component that I think will be just very beneficial to us moving forward as a city. You can see there's general public stuff, there's surveys, there are stakeholder meetings, interviews, all that sort of stuff that'll be wrapped up in this process and hopefully allow you all as the elected officials to ascertain what's important in the community. You know, what do your constituents, your public, what do they want to see out of the city of Perry moving forward? So that'll be, again, quite exciting, I think. So for all those reasons, I think this is a great process. Administration would concur with Joe here in recommending approval.
Okay. Other questions or comments, sir?
I appreciate all the stuff you said. I was just thinking, I guess what I like so much about this, because I've read through I wasn't a part of the last comp plan that was out there with Centerville and kind of the surrounding area, but having read through that, I thought I could have generally written a lot of that stuff, just use some of the buzzwords and stuff like that. What excites me about this is it's a very Perry specific thing. We're not doing this so that we can fulfill all righteousness to DCA and say we can check all these boxes. We're really writing a future plan for our neighborhood and our city. So it's I hope we'll keep that edge like that as we go through the process and keep that in mind, because this is where we're going to live and some of us are going to grow up here.
Yeah, that's true. A lot of people are going to grow up here. Yes, sir.
Well, Councilmember Peterson pretty much summed up what I was going to say. I appreciate Mr. Smith's comments and as yours as well, Councilmember Peterson. I read the joint comprehensive plan, I agree, it seemed like it was kind of watered down for Perry, and it did seem like a few boxes were checked to cover Perry. I'm excited about going forward with this plan that you've put together, and you and your team have put together, because as both of you, all three of you have mentioned, it will be Perry specific, and it seems to me we're going to get a lot more bang for our buck this way. Yes, sir.
Well, I think it's a deeper planning process that actually engages our citizens on a much broader scale that gives us the feedback to make the decisions we need to make, because, you know, we are serving them, and this gives us a document that is very granular about the specific needs of Perry, and so I think it's something that would help us a great deal. And my understanding is that we budgeted over 2 years. Part of it will come out of this year's budget that we budget for, and then the other portion out of next year's budget.
Yes, sir, that's correct. It'll span 2 fiscal years.
Yep. So, other questions or comments?
Just a quick comment, Mayor. One more. In the current comprehensive plan, the cities of Centerville, Perry, and Warner Robins, and Houston County decided to do online surveys about what the residents wanted, and Perry by far had the most respondents to this request for comments. Our people have ideas, we hear them, and we hear our residents, and this, I believe, this will give us a chance to address those specific concerns in addition to the other concerns that we have. But I just thought that was pretty interesting. The city of Warner Robins by far is larger than Perry, but we had a much bigger response in our residents online to the online survey. So,
Yes, sir. Our folks are engaged.
My only question is that I had remaining is, so how does this get paid for? Is this out of general fund? Is this out of Mr. Duffy's back pocket? And does the payment start in this fiscal year or next fiscal year?
Yes, sir, this would be general fund dollars. We currently have $75,000 budgeted for the project for this fiscal year, and we would budget the rest in FY '27 that you all will be dealing with this upcoming spring.
Okay, thank you.
Okay. So if there's no other questions, are you comfortable with moving it forward for a vote tomorrow night on our regular agenda? Okay. We'll move forward. It is an agenda item for tomorrow night, so we'll vote on it at that time. Thank you, Mr. Duffy.
Thank you.
Look forward to that. Item 4B is Economic Development Department. 4B1 is location request for Phase 2 of the placemaking project at Welcome Park. Ms. Hartley?
Thank you, Mayor. Mayor and Council, this is just a request for a concurrence for us to proceed with Phase 2 of placing a picnic table at Welcome Park. As you can see, the proposed location is visible there on your slides. Phase 1 included the musical instruments, the flower instruments, as a part of the placemaking project, and that first phase of the project was a joint project from the DDA and Main Street Advisory Board as far as to order those instruments, and those instruments have been received by the Public Works Department, so that will be getting scheduled for installation soon. So this is a request to place this picnic table here in Welcome Park, and this second phase of the project is actually being funded by the Georgia Economic Placemaking Collaborative's Year 2 grant. We were awarded $2,000 to proceed with this proposed project. The matching funds for the project will be coming from the Main Street Advisory Board in the amount of about $450. So I'm just looking for a concurrence to move forward this evening.
Any questions, council members?
great use for Welcome Park.
Thank you.
Questions, comments? This too will be on the agenda for tomorrow, Mr. Smith, is that correct? So, do we have your concurrence to move it to the agenda? Okay. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Appreciate it. Item 5 is council member items. Ms. Bynum Grace? Dr. Albritton?
None, sir.
Mayor Pro Tem?
No, sir.
Mr. Peterson?
None for me.
Mr. King? It's my understanding it's urgent care and Aspen Dental. Yeah. Not you can't rent teeth there, they'll work on your teeth there. So, that's what the latest I heard, is that correct, Mr. Duffy?
Yes, sir, that is correct.
Okay, so I think that's what's going to go in there. Mr. Smith, anything for us this evening?
No, sir.
Ms. Newby? Anything for you? Okay. Item 6 are department heads. Ms. Wharton? Mr. Worthington?
Nothing tonight, sir.
Mr. Duffy, anything else?
No, sir.
Mr. Coates? Okay. Chief? Chief? Oh. Ms. White? Ms. Clark? Oh, you guys are easy. Ms. Warren? No, sir. Okay. It's your opportunity. Item 7 is mayor items, and tonight I just want to remind everybody that our meetings are open to the public, and we encourage your participation in those. Our next meeting will be tomorrow night at 5 p.m. on December the 16th here in this meeting room, and it'll start with our pre-council and then our regular council meeting at 6 p.m. Item 8, our executive session. We do have a requirement for an executive session relative to real estate, and at this time, I'll entertain a motion to go into executive session. Motion and a second. All in favor, please indicate by raising your right hand. We are in executive session at this time.